All right. So you say you have this tough group. Your first game is up against EDG. EDG may be the favorite for this whole event. How are you guys approaching this group in these matches? Because, I think there's not a 0% chance you make it out of this group, right? T1 didn't look amazing over the course of LCK playoffs or in the gauntlet, like pretty shaky, kind of won 3-2 in a dirty series against Hanwha. So it doesn't seem completely implausible that you could take a second seed out of this group.
I mean, it could happen, right? Let's be real though. For us to make it out of the groups, we have to do 0 DFM. We can't lose a single game versus them.
Yes.
And then we have to basically steal the games from EDG and SKT. I have no clue about EDG, how we will face versus them. But I believe that versus SKT we can win. So like it's BO1. Anything can happen. We could take the game from SKT, and then if we 2-0 DFM, then who knows what's gonna happen, right? Maybe there's gonna be a tiebreaker and it'll be spicy. But we'll have to see.
I feel like coming out of LCK though, this is the question I have about T1 in your group, which is I feel like a lot of the LCK people, like a lot of their belief about T1 was just the idea if they put the right roster together and if only the good games counted and you don't count the bad games in LCK. And obviously they did make the run to the final. So I feel like people just built their idea that T1 was a big team. I feel like a lot of people who were just the general world analysts actually don't think T1's that good. It seems like you're kind of putting them as stronger than you, right?
Yeah, I'd say they're stronger than us, but it's given that we like the amount of scrims we had is such. We had like 13 days of scrims, and out of those 2 days were like either cancel or riot, like whatever, like videos. So we don't really have that much data.
Right. Okay.
We'll be behind on meta, so we'll have to adapt. We'll have to see the first day when everyone plays, and then we'll have to quickly adapt, right? We will have only like 2 days to adapt before we play all of our games at the same day. And like we're not in the spot where I would dare to say we're better than T1,
Okay.
No way. Because we're not even playing as good as we were playing in playoffs, in NA playoffs. So yeah.
Just because you were late on the scrims, or are you uncomfortable with the meta comparatively?
We haven't scrimmed after finals. We haven't scrimmed for like a month. Given that we took an 11 days break, and then we went to Berlin, but Closer didn't get visa in time, so we were basically only playing solo queue in Berlin in Misfits Gaming House, and then we finally started scrimming in Iceland. So yeah. I would say that's like the main reasons.
I think I've nailed the difference in mentality, Monty. Like, as you saw, young Adam coming in, he's only played one bloody split. He's been in the finals one time of playoffs ever. He's coming into Worlds and he's going, who's Zhao who? I'm Adam. NA goes, dude, that's Faker. And then the vein on the neck just goes fucking... That's the difference in mentality between the regions right there. There you go.
Freeze, like... When you look at this, though, when you look at the meta, it seems to me to be favorable towards you guys because so much has been about the early game, and that's been 100 Thieves' overwhelming strength this year. So at the very least, even if you haven't had the most time to scrim, it feels like the world's meta is playing into your wheelhouse more or less. Like the bot lane is more important than perhaps it was previously. I wouldn't say that some days playstyle is necessarily ideal, but at least in play-ins, we've seen teams like play weak side top and win a lot of games. So it's not necessary potentially for him to have to carry the whole roster. Are you guys feeling comfortable in the meta overall as a result of this?
Yeah, I mean, overall the meta is pretty good for us. Like the way the game is being played right now at Worlds. Given that we've been always good at early game, we were not having issues even versus like the better teams in terms of skill level. So for example, like we would be scoring down one, and we would be every single early game we would be ahead. We would be like 2k gold ahead, but then mid game would come in and we would just lose, eventually. So that kind of like plays into our hands, and that the players are skilled enough to match even the best. I feel it's pretty good for us, but given that our mid game is nowhere where it used to be, and it wasn't even good to start with, right? Then that might be an issue for us in the groups games. So we'll see.
Closer must be loving this, right? Like he's gonna pop off on all. This is Closer's time to shine. He must be so happy about all these like assassin junglers and getting these huge leads into the early and mid game, right? Is this his favorite meta ever? He must be having a great time.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Closer has been always having a good time, like throughout this season. You know, like the season was basically like his season to play, where everything kind of like worked into his favor, and you know he's a very good player, and he put a lot of work in to be like the best. So, yeah.
What I want to ask was this: as a coach, right? You're not the player, so you can't know what the form will be like and all the rest. What do you think the expectations for 100 Thieves should be? Because even though you said like Group A and Group B are the really hard ones, a lot of people, like I say. For example, a lot of people don't necessarily have EDG win the tournament. A lot of people think T1 maybe they're going to be weaker than possibly in the past. Some people might not even know DFMR, so they might think that is an easy 2-0. What are your expectations? Like, should we actually expect 100 Thieves is going to be a playoff team?
I mean, if I look at it real, then we would be third in the group, right? If I had no say whatsoever. Yeah. But what I would like kind of expect is the games to be. You know, like we're not coming here to get stomped. You know, we're coming here to win the groups. That's our mentality, even though the group is very hard. So I feel like the games could be close. You know, in versus everyone in our group. So that's what I would kind of like expect from us.
Want to see more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or be a pleb and don't.